Meanwhile, his teammate Sam Walker won't be following Victor Radley's lead, with the Roosters half declaring he'll only ever play for Queensland and the Kangaroos, despite also being eligible to represent England.
No, I'm happy to play. You know, I'm a proud Queenslander and I want to represent Queensland and Australia. I'm not shocked at all. I think, you know, whatever decision he wants to make, and you know, he's obviously very proud of his heritage there, and yeah, it's a decision that he's made. You know, he's an absolute weapon. You know, training with him every week. He's a freak, and yeah, he'd be a massive loss for New South Wales, that's for sure.
Yes, now this adds to the debate, Kenty, that you've been talking about for a while, about the passion of New South Welshmen and whether they have that same passion of Queensland. Does that add to this?
Oh, I think it does, both. I think the fact that he was in the Origin camp for game 2 and not
You're going to upset some people, Kenny?
I know I've upset people, but it's a reality.
He has upset some people.
He has upset some people.
But look,
well, can we just clarify that you're not, when you speak about this though, you're not talking about all the generations of players who've worn the blue jersey previously.
Clearly not.
You're talking about this current team.
I'm just talking about the fact that you've got players in this New South Wales team whose ambition, the Queenslanders speak of Queensland first, Australia second. We've got guys speaking of now England first, Samoa first, Tonga first, and the Blues second. They see Origin not as the dream for them, not the dream. They see it more as the status of playing Origin. That's their Origin ambitions are to reach the status of playing in that toughest cauldron. But I don't think when they go to bed at night, they don't. You know, as Benny Lai said last week, they used to sleep in their Blues jerseys. I don't think these guys sleep in their Blues jerseys. I just don't, and that's something I think that's incumbent upon over the years. I think when Phil Gore was New South Wales coach, they just had it right through. The New South Wales team was he made them get what Origin was about. He made them, at the very least, if not more, match what Queensland were doing about the jersey. I think Ricky Stewart was the same when he was the New South Wales coach. I just don't think it's there now.
But you don't think that Brandy and Freddie doing the same thing?
No.
Or you don't think it's a different generation?
I think they're trying.
You think it's the coaches, or you think it's...
Well, Braith, all I can see is from outside is what I'm hearing, that they want to play, that they want to play elsewhere.
That's one of the great blunders of the Origin series, was leaving Jake Trbojevic out of game 1.
Exactly.
Because he bleeds that jersey. He is one guy who you could never...
They all should bleed.
Make but he's one guy you could never doubt. You could never make that allegation against. And that's why leaving him out of Origin 1 was a debacle for New South Wales, a complete and utter debacle.
Not only that, loyalty is a two-way street, okay? And when Jake Trbojevic gets a phone call when he's at training, he tries to ring Freddie back, and Freddie misses the next dozen calls from Jake. Josh Adokar, they play phone tag apparently, so he doesn't actually speak to him.
Another guy who you could never raise that.
Another guy who is essentially has always stood up for New South Wales. Every time he picked, he did his job, and then inexplicably gets left out of the side. And so how does that... Latrell Mitchell some years back, Cody Walker some years back, Luke Keary some years back. They've all just been, mate, you're not in the side, done.
No, some of them were on form.
Katoni
Staggs was on form.
Okay.
Some players are going to come in out of the team. They're not all going to be...
I get that.
Don't start me on Luke Keary. He's a Queenslander. Let's not go there.
You talk about form. Where's Dane Gaggai's form?
Well, it was there in game 3.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you very much. And that's my point. And so when you get these inexplicable omissions, and you're one of those players that's just been burned because you've been left out of the side, then you can't tell me that there's just a small part of you that's stinging over that, and that you don't feel that the loyalty and the commitment you've given to the jersey has not been returned.
I think
and it hasn't.
Joey was a great example. He got criticised for his reaction after the game. He didn't articulate it the best, but that was someone who bleeds blue.
100%.
That was someone who...
And I would never question Andrew Johns' commitment in a Blues jersey.
Because it was genuine, and it showed how much...
It was genuine.
You know what.
And Braith, I got the feeling when I looked into the Blues dressing room and the dressing room cameras after that Andrew Johns was hurting more than half the blokes in the room. And again, that's not the way it should be. Like, you'd never question Andrew Johns' commitment. You never question Paul Harrigan's commitment, Laurie Daly's commitment, Ricky Stewart's commitment when they were wearing the blue jersey. But when you look at this team, you know, I just don't see that. And I think it's incumbent upon the coaching staff to put it in them. To keep that, and that's what Queensland do every year. Every year they go away and they renew and they reinvigorate what it means to wear the Queensland jersey.
Yeah, but I believe New South Wales do the same. They're just not, I don't know.
Where was it?
I'm not in there, so I don't know. But anyway.